Was Göbekli Tepe the original Tower of Babel? This thread may be frayed, but it's still holding together. Rubber baby buggy bumpers, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Silly Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, Fuzzy
What are you babbling on about now?
Oh, sorry, man. I'm just prepping for this special episode we have today on the Tower of Babel.
I kind of wish you were babbling on, and it was about the space station Babylon 5, and this thread centered around the dawn of the third age of mankind, and not the ancient Tower of Babel. But anyways, go ahead. What makes this episode so special?
Okay, I'll tell you that, but I'm very curious why Babylon 5 is such a huge fascination with you.
Well, you know, Garibaldi, he's a bit of a cultural icon in my universe, what with his whole cynical alcoholism. But that's another story for another day. So continue on. I want to know what makes this thread so special.
Well, believe it or not, we finally got a suggestion from our next to non-existent audience.
Get out! They do exist?
Yes, they do exist, but they seem to be more evasive than Bigfoot.
Hey, now. No body shaming there, Tubby. They're called Sasquatch. Man, the toxicity, it just kind of oozes out of you, doesn't it, Kevin?
You ever notice you can only ooze two things? Sexuality and pus. Man, I tell you.
So anyways, tell me who said it and what did they say?
Well, it was sent as anonymous, but they did say, Kevin, the Tower of Babel isn't just a story, it's a blueprint of your speech pattern. Yeah.
That wasn't a suggestion, Kevin. I think that was intended as an insult. And if you think about it, it was probably someone you know, considering they didn't want you to know who it was.
No, really?
Yeah, and like a good insult, it has truth to it.
Okay, about my speech pattern? No, I'm dyslexic, dude. I do my best.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
And here I thought it was just the dimensional rift scrambling your words or something, but come to find out, it's just you and your disabled brain.
Well, regardless of its intent, I thought it was a good suggestion, so I ran with it and it led to some exciting discoveries.
Oh, well, in that case, please continue, my illiterate friend.
Well, are you familiar with the Tower of Babel, Evil Fred?
Of course I am. Unlike some people, I actually know how to read.
Not funny.
Sinister Caesar. So anyways, the Tower of Babel. It's a narrative from the Bible found in Genesis 11, chapters 1 through 9. Now, according to the story, humans spoke a single language after the Great Flood and migrated eastward to the land of Shinar, or Babylonia. There, they decided to build a city and a tower tall enough to reach the heavens. This tower is often referred to as the Tower of Babel. The purpose of building such a tower was twofold. First, to be a monument to the people's unity and strength, and second, to prevent them from being scattered across the world. However, the Bible describes how God, seeing their pride and unity in building this tower, confounded their speech so that they could no longer understand each other, and then scattered them around the world. This dispersion supposedly led to the formation of different languages and different nations. Man, God seems harsh for this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And mind you, this is the opening book of the Bible. So this is how they open their sales pitch.
Jeez, yikes.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So this story has been interpreted in various ways. It's often seen as an explanation of the world's diversity of languages and cultures. This story also serves as a moral about pride and the limitations of human ambition. The tower itself is not described in detail in the Bible, but it is often described in art and literature as a massive ziggurat-like structure, reflecting the architectural styles of Mesopotamia. But I don't think that's right, Evil Fred. I think it was something far simpler and yet way more profound than that.
So how could something be simpler and yet more profound? Man, you truly are a babbling fool today.
Evil Fred, it'll make sense, trust me. First, I want to focus on the interpretation of the story rather than its biblical events. I think the story was passed down for centuries and corrupted by interpretation before finding its way into the Bible, much like our theory on the Jewish exodus from Egypt.
Yeah, we did an entire episode on that topic. If you haven't seen it, watch it, or I'll hunt you down.
Whoa. Calm down there. Cool your jets, Evil Fred. You know, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Okay.
But it is worth watching.
Definitely.
So anyways, most scholars believe the Tower of Babel is a story referencing Mesopotamia and the city of Babylon. However, the time frame does not match up. Archaeological evidence suggests that Babylon was not settled until 3000 BCE. That put the events in the Bible far too late to be associated with Babylon. However, there is a location that is ancient and fits the interpretation of the story regarding language.
I see, and I think I know where you're going with this. The city you're referring to is Bilbos, which is located in present-day Lebanon. It is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the entire world. Bilbos has been inhabited since the Neolithic period, around 7000 BCE or even earlier. And on the subject of language, Bilbos does play a significant role. Our modern alphabet originates in this city, which was occupied by the Phoenicians around 1050 BCE. So, do you think that Bilbos was misinterpreted as Babylon?
No, but I think you made some really good points and connections. However, the alphabet developed by the Phoenicians was borrowed from the Egyptians about 5,500 years ago. When I speak of the original Tower of Babel myth, I have my sights set on something far, far older.
Göbekli Tepe means mound with belly. It's a surprising fact here in Göbekli Tepe that we have monumental architecture so early in the history of mankind. So we didn't expect it to have it so early. So we are nearly 7,000 years before the pyramids, which are the first monumental building everyone knows in our history. But here we are in a time people still had been hunter-gatherer living here in Upper Mesopotamia, but had been able to organize themselves in such a way that they had been able to produce this monumental architecture. This is a big surprise, and it doesn't change history, but it adds a chapter to history which we didn't know it exists before.
Göbekli Tepe? You know, Kevin, there are many theories surrounding Göbekli Tepe, some more fringe than others, such as the lost civilization of Atlantis built it or the Anunnaki built it. But Göbekli Tepe being the Tower of Babel, I think that might be a stretch even for you.
But we do know these monoliths were erected for religious purposes.
You said monoliths.
Okay, I did not expect you to go there. We know for 1,000 years between 9,500 BCE and 8,500 BCE, a hunter-gatherer society occupied this region. And then they suddenly covered up the temple complex with gravel and dirt, perhaps to preserve it. And they just left. Why do you think they would do that, Evil Fred?
I would say it's because of environmental changes. Around 8500 BCE, evidence shows that the Earth was going through a rapid change in climate. The Ice Age and the Younger Dryas symptoms were ending, and the Earth was heating up rapidly. The inhabitants of Göbekli Tepe were primarily meat eaters, with some exceptions such as wild cereals. Some even believe they may have been experimenting with early farming as well.
Yeah, and because their primary diet was from hunting, these people would have been forced to follow the herds.
Yep, and because most animals would be well suited for cold environments, considering the Ice Age was just ending, the animals would most likely head north towards the Caucasus Mountains.
And probably vowed to return to their homeland one day.
Well, that would explain why the monuments were buried and preserved and not destroyed.
Eventually, these immigrants would settle in the steppes of Asia.
Hold the phone, the steppes of Asia?
Yeah, where they'd eventually domesticate the horse.
What? Okay, so you're suggesting the architects of Göbekli Tepe are the forebearers of the Indo-European language?
You got it. You connected it. Good
the
job.
language that makes up the root of 50% of all the world's speakers today?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that the architects of Göbekli Tepe are the forefathers of the Romance, Germanic, Slavic, Indo-Iranian, Celtic, and Hindi languages?
That's precisely what I'm saying, Evil Fred. There are two leading hypotheses on the origins of the Indo-European language. One is that they originated in the steppes of Asia with a Krugan culture north of the Caucasus Mountains, and the other one is the Anatolian hypothesis, which states that the Indo-European languages began to spread from Turkey around 7000 BCE after the invention of farming and animal husbandry. I personally think both hypotheses are correct and are linked to Göbekli Tepe.
My mind is blown. I still don't see what this has to do with the Tower of Babel. Like, the time frame you're talking about is tens of thousands of years. I would also like to point out that the Bible was written by a Semitic people whose language has no connection with the Indo-European language.
True. However, one Indo-European group would have direct influence over the Jewish people and the stories in the Bible. The Hittites.
The Hittites?
The Hittites. Yeah. They were one of the earliest known empire-building civilizations that spoke an Indo-European dialect. They had direct contact with the Semitic people to their south, particularly with the Jewish and the Babylonians in Mesopotamia.
Yeah, okay, I do recall the Hittites being mentioned many times in the Bible, such as from a loyal soldier in King David's army to even Abraham himself purchasing a burial plot for his wife Sarah from the Hittites.
Yes, and it was the Hittites who sacked Babylon in 1595 BCE and possibly destroyed the Babylon ziggurat, to which the Tower of Babel is believed to be associated with.
So perhaps it was this occurrence that led to the Babel myth story? You think that the Hittites, who were Indo-European with roots in Göbekli Tepe, returned to their motherland in central Turkey and eventually attacked Babylon. Perhaps it was to destroy their famous ziggurat, much like how the Shadows tried to destroy Babylon 5 in the Third Age of Mankind.
Well, when you say it like that, it does sound a little far-fetched.
Sinister. Yeah, you're stretching this red thread so much that it might snap back and hit you in the face, much like how reality hits Kanye West whenever he posts on X.
Whew. Fair point, Evil Fred. But consider this. In the 2nd century BCE, with the rise of the Jewish people and the sacking of Babylon by the Hittites, there were many cultures thriving that were connected to the Indo-European family tree, such as the Mycenaean Greeks, who colonized the Aegean Sea, and the Indo-Iranians who colonized Iran and later India, the Tocharians of Western China, plus many other cultures across Northern Europe.
Okay, now I'm starting to see what you're saying. The early Semitic people of the Levant, who would become the authors of the Bible, would potentially see the connection of all these different languages and conclude that at one time, they all came from a single source. Keep in mind the Jews were situated right in the middle of all these cultures that had their roots with the Indo-Europeans.
And they used the destruction of Babylon, particularly its ziggurat, to illustrate this observation. In a roundabout way, Göbekli Tepe is a Tower of Babel, or at least the story's origin.
Okay, I can get on board with that. But now, let's talk about the other mystery.
What other mystery?
Who sent you the insult, i.e. our suggestion for the entire episode?
Wait. Was it you? You know, you could have saved me a lot of time if you just been up front with me in the get-go. I spent all this time researching when I could have been playing Fortnite.
Wait, you play Fortnite?
Yeah, of course I do. It's good for the hand-eye coordination.
Okay, if you say so, Mr. Hairy Palms, but I'm telling you, it wasn't me.
Then who was it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, noob.
Oh.
That was me.
You.
You still owe me payment for the work I've done for you.
Oh, snap. You know, it's funny you say that because I honestly thought I said that to you. Let
Don't
me
you
check.
dare to cut me off again.
That was close. Oh, wait. Is that the moon?
Oh, hello there.
Damn it. Not this guy.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Well, I'm glad you're here. It's very lonely on the moon.
You know, one sec. I'm starting to, yes, I'm starting to lose you.
Oh, I see how it is to Dumduiro. Oh, you have not seen the last of me.
Whew. Goodbye, Nazi man. Evil Fred.
Sinister. I see you're getting a nice collection of fanboys, or should I say, haters.
Yeah, people on YouTube are not the nicest.
You know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, and that's what scares me about you. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'd also like to thank our supporters, Super Dave, White Fat, Renegade, and Roebuck. Without your generous support, this show would not be possible.
I'd also like to remind you that if you have a suggestion for a thread you'd want us to follow, please let us know in the comments section of our Discord or shoot us an email at the address on screen. I'm Evil Fred.
And I'm Kevin Cater, reminding you to follow the red thread and see where it takes you.
I guess I'll follow it to where it takes us all. The I Hate Kevin Cater Club. Sinister. I really do hate him.